My favourite thing about Stellar Blade is it's like a mousetrap that catches all the unhinged weirdos who think that this game existing it's going to end feminism. All the incredible progress that Sweet Baby Inc. and the like have been making by shoving in politics and agendas into games, it's all at risk because of a title that's got an attractive woman in it. We just can't have it. But what I've really noticed is the goalposts moving over the last few days and blatant hypocrisy in action from all of these people who are crying about Stellar Blade, it can't exist, all of that nonsense. Because you would think that the people who don't like Stellar Blade because it's got a woman with a well-proportioned body who wears revealing outfits, you would think that these type of people who are upset, that they're the types who only like to see women in burqas. We can't have any ankles. The women have to totally cover up. You'd think it's those sorts of people, but it's not. The same people criticizing Stellar Blade, they're the people with anime profile photos, with the waifu, the anime waifu. A lot of these people sell illustrations of nude anime characters. Their entire personality is often based around being in love with fictional video game characters. Which is interesting because most of the people enthusiastic about Stellar Blade, it's just a bit of fun. Hey, it's a cool, fun game. It's none of the nonsense politics that we've seen, the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff. Again, none of that stuff crammed down your throat. It's just a fun time, a bit of entertainment. That's why many people have been excited for it. They've played the demo. It all seems pretty good. No one's really obsessed with it like these people are with their video game characters. And I'm going to give you an example of that. Exhibit A, Bayonetta. So Bayonetta, it's a beloved series by many of the same people who were crying about Stellar Blade. But that wasn't always the case, because you may see a familiar face here. This is Anita Sarkeesian, whatever her name is. It's been a long time since I've heard about this clown. 11 years ago, this video, Feminist Frequency, that was her organization. I think it shut down. They were like the OG Sweet Baby Inc., who were hired to basically ruin games, take the fun out of games, all the stuff you've heard about with Sweet Baby. Oh no, we need to race swap anyone. We can't have any white men. Oh my goodness, there's no non-binary characters in this game. We've got to change this all up. It was everything you've come to expect in 2024, but she was doing it like 10 years ago. She was an innovator for all of the wrong reasons. Well, in this video, she shits all over Bayonetta. She says everything that people are saying about Stellar Blade. It's going to end feminism. My goodness, all this progress we're making, it's going out the window, down the toilet. We can't have this. She wants Bayonetta banned, and she was doing the same thing about, like, Samus from the Metroid series. So all they've really done is they've moved on to the latest fad. Bayonetta, that was the worst thing 10 years ago. Oh my goodness, this can't happen. Now they're whinging about Stellar Blade, but worst of all, they're pretending that they were always fans of Bayonetta. People like Anita, they don't talk about Bayonetta in a negative light anymore, and I'm going to show you some examples. So for instance, someone's found a post here from the Purple Forum, Reset Era, where all these crazies live. And in this post, someone says, Bayonetta isn't popular in the LGBTQIA+ space for no reason. Managed to get all of that out. She's camp. She's confident and flirty. In tune with her sexuality and body. She's over the top. She could join the drag race. And she also uses some BDSM kind of attacks against enemies inspired by Christian mythology. Now, I imagine that the Insane Asylum did a roll call and found they were one person short today. But I thought that Christian mythology was evil and bad. Now there's this person saying it like it's a good thing. Very, very interesting. But you can see what I mean about the goalposts moving. So Bayonetta, oh, it's camp, confident, flirty. She's doing her own thing. It doesn't matter that she likes to show off her body. This is her own choice. But when it's Eve from Stellar Blade, no, it's the male gaze entirely. She's a cartoon character purely for men to ogle at. She's not an individual. I guarantee you 5 years from now, they'll be saying all of this same crap about Eve from Stellar Blade. Because these people, it's not about Stellar Blade the game, it's not about Eve the character, it's about the audience and who's enjoying it. People saw Stellar Blade, mostly men were interested in it and thought, yep, cool, looks fun, might pick it up. And these people lost their minds because they don't want me or you to enjoy anything that's fun. They don't see entertainment as a thing. They really think movies, games, they should have one purpose only, which is to push ideology onto you, that you experience the story in a game. It should have that one purpose. Re-education. Get you thinking like them. It's why every relationship in these fictional stories, if it's not an LGBT+, if it's not one of those relationships, they consider it a missed opportunity. Oh my goodness, we had a chance to cram this crap down someone's throat. You didn't take it. You're a traitor. That's how they think. You can't just tell a fun story. There are not many cishet guys, cishet, I haven't heard that one. Cishet guys drooling over her. She's not your typical character that's made for that demographic, in my opinion. She couldn't be more different from Eve. Not to say you have to like her or that you can't find her problematic, but you should acknowledge the differences here. Well, Stellar Blade hasn't even come out. There's been a demo, and I imagine it's mostly about the combat, the gameplay, getting into those systems to try and appeal to people, because it's fine, you can have the sexy video game character, but unless the gameplay's actually good, most people aren't going to care. They're not falling in love with Eve, and that's the main reason to play as. I'm sure there's some weirdos like that, but most people, it looks fun. That's it. You haven't bent the knee to these crazies and made Stellar Blade's star character the absolute abomination that is the Fable main character, that female or whatever she is. So people are willing to give it a chance, and that's why these people aren't having it. Anything that could appeal to just your regular male audience who've traditionally enjoyed video games the most, that is the end of the world, apparently. And the hypocrisy continues. So there's a Twitter exchange here where someone says, you can keep trying to lay claim to these characters, but they're for us straight men. Bayonetta got piped. I don't really know what he's talking about or whatever. But the response, this person says, Bayonetta is with her wife in a mansion right now. Cry about it. This is another thing as well, where women wearing revealing outfits and all of this stuff that they complained about with Eve, it's all totally fine as long as the characters are lesbian and their relationships are with other women. That's totally fine. But if they could be possibly appealing to men, and it's playing out the male fantasy once again, that's when it is extremely bad. As long as there's some sort of LGBT relationship going on, it's all totally fine. But this person has totally made up a narrative in their head to support that agenda, that this Bayonetta character is a lesbian, because, as this person says here, those characters are considered to be gay icons by degenerates, even if lore-wise they actually aren't. So Bayonetta, supposedly a gay icon, but there's no evidence for that whatsoever in terms of the people who made the game. These people have just got a fantasy of their own. And the person goes on to say, it was especially amusing with Bayonetta, which actually got official family art. It got lesbians and trans people immensely butthurt for a period of time until they decided to just pretend it doesn't exist. So here is official Bayonetta art, and it's labeled here as illustrated by Platinum Games, the makers of Bayonetta. And it's got the character of Bayonetta who is obviously her husband and their child. I don't see the lesbian relationship. I mean, I'm sure they'll try and, oh, no, this was actually a trans man, and somehow he managed to have a child. It's absolutely the case. There's definitely trans stuff going on here. That can be at Platinum Games, Nintendo. They wouldn't betray me. Nice try, but I think we can all use common sense. The studio who made Bayonetta, I believe they have a similar philosophy to the Stellar Blade studio, where they don't care about any of the woke politics across the sea in the West. They just want to make a fun piece of entertainment. They want to put attractive people in there because that's what most regular people are looking for. out of entertainment. It's why the most successful movies, TV shows generally star good-looking people, not people who look like the morons who post about this stuff, about fantasizing about their favorite character being a lesbian, even though it's all in their own head. This continues too. Someone says here, again on the Purple Forum on Reset Era, gotta say it's wild for me to dip into some of the stuff around Stellar Blade and see the desperate-sounding tweets from Sony and other accounts that are all, can we just appreciate her? And treating Eve like she's some legendary classic video game heroine, when every single image and video clip of her is a vacant-eyed, over-exaggerated sex doll with zero emotion and personality. Even if that was true, it's a video game. It's about the gameplay. It's about the player simply getting into her shoes and fighting monsters, killing enemies. Why does she really need some massive personality, some trauma? She's a victim or something's going on there, all the sort of stories these imbeciles seem to enjoy. Apparently it can't just be a video game first, unless the heroine fits into a very specific box which lines up with these people's worldview, then it's evil. Sony are evil now. Well, what about when it was Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn? There were no issues there whatsoever. None of this came up at all. She's totally fine, even though when Horizon Zero Dawn was announced, obviously not a legendary video game character. That takes time. You release a game, it'll be successful if the gameplay is good, and now you've got a new icon, like Tomb Raider with Lara Croft. You release some good games, and suddenly you've got an icon there. It could be the same with Eve. You're not who's going to dictate that. It's going to be the sales figures. I imagine they're going to be pretty good. And this person ends, Bayonetta, you are not, ma'am. Again, the hypocrisy. Bayonetta, the worst thing ever, evil 10 years ago, now celebrating it. The tables turn. You will be doing the same with Stellar Blade, as you always do. Now, this has to be the fakest post I've ever read to try and justify all of this nonsense. This isn't something that these people would ever hold themselves to in the future. And it's this person saying, in my opinion, anything that is a self-insert, referring to Stellar Blade and Eve, should have options to play as a male or female character. So apparently with Stellar Blade, there should be the option to play as a male character as well. So you can play as Eve or Evan. Either is apparently fine. If you give us the options there, it's all good. However, do you think that these people would agree with this premise if, let's say, a game comes out and it stars an overweight black lady, a woman of colour, and that's the only option you have to play as? If the developers later patched in the option to play as a guy, God forbid he's white or something, he's not a person of colour, do you think that this person would be fine with that and would say, yeah, diversity of choice, give people the option, a self-insert, play as the people you want? No. This person would be in tears, melting down, the world would literally be ending, and you're bowing down to the gamers TM by allowing this. No, we need to change culture. How could you do this? This would be their reaction if the tables were turned. Imagine you have a game, finally these people win. Sweet Baby Inc., they reach their objective and we get a big AAA game starring a non-binary or some sort of trans character. And then again, there's a bit of backlash and the developer goes, yep, you know what, we're going to flip the switch. It's totally optional to play as this trans character. Here's your big, strong male character who you can play as instead. Do you think this person would buy into that? Oh, yep, I'm going to stay consistent. I wanted that for Stellar Blade, so I'm happy to have it here. Absolutely not. Again, these people do not care about fun, entertainment, anyone having a good time. 24/7, they're thinking about this nonsense. They constantly bang on that whenever there is some sort of politically motivated game and it's super obvious, they're the first to come out all arrogantly patronizing. The game's not for you. That's just how it is now. Fortunately, these people have zero backbone like they did with Hogwarts Legacy. I guarantee you with how well that game sold, at least 75% of the people who were saying, I'm going to boycott Hogwarts Legacy, I hate Harry Potter now, they secretly bought the game and were having a lovable time with it. And I bet a lot of these same people are going to do it with Stellar Blade, and they won't tell anyone out of fear of being cancelled by their own crowd. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.